The signal came on an ordinary Tuesday. Humanity's deep space listening arrays, scattered across Earth's surface and lunar bases, simultaneously detected a pattern too precise to be natural. Dr. Sarah Chen, lead researcher at the Mauna Kea Observatory, spent 3 sleepless nights verifying the data before making the call that would change human history forever. The Valerian ships appeared in high Earth orbit exactly 1 month later. 7 crystalline vessels, each the size of a small city, their hulls seeming to bend light itself around their elegant forms. The world held its breath, united for the first time by the sheer magnitude of the moment. First contact had arrived not with violence or fear, but with beauty and grace. Ambassador Lyra, the Valerians' chosen representative, was everything humanity hoped for in their first alien encounter. Tall and elegant, with iridescent skin that shifted colors with her emotions, she spoke of peace, cultural exchange, and technological advancement. "We have watched your species for some time," she announced in perfect English during the first UN assembly. "Your potential is remarkable. We wish to help you join the greater galactic community." The next 6 months were a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings and technological exchanges. The Valerians offered solutions to climate change, clean energy innovations, and medical advancements that seemed nothing short of miraculous. World leaders embraced the alien benefactors, and humanity began to dream of a bright future among the stars. Dr. Chen, however, couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. Working closely with the Valerian scientific team, she noticed discrepancies in their data sharing. Critical information about their propulsion systems and defense technologies was always just out of reach, classified as not yet appropriate for human development. When she raised concerns to the International Science Council, she was politely but firmly reminded of the delicate nature of diplomatic relations. The truth began to unravel during a routine data analysis at her observatory. Hidden beneath the regular communications between Earth and the Valerian fleet, she detected encrypted transmissions in an entirely different frequency. Working in secret with a small team of trusted colleagues, she spent weeks decoding the messages. What they found chilled them to the bone. The Valerians weren't alone. They were merely the diplomatic arm of a vast coalition known as the Hegemony, an alliance of species that had dominated this sector of the galaxy for millennia. Their mission wasn't to elevate humanity. It was to assess and contain them. Earth's location near several strategic hyperspace routes made it too valuable to ignore, but too dangerous to allow independent development. The technological gifts weren't meant to advance human civilization. They were carefully designed to make Earth dependent on Valerian maintenance and supplies. The medical breakthroughs contained hidden vulnerabilities that could be exploited if humanity proved troublesome. Even the climate solutions were double-edged, requiring regular adjustments that only Valerian engineers could provide. Dr. Chen took her findings to Admiral James Santos, head of Earth's newly formed Space Defense Initiative. The program had been publicly scaled back at the Valerian suggestion, but had continued its work in secret, driven by military leaders who believed in preparing for all contingencies. In his underground office in the Rocky Mountains, Chen laid out the evidence of humanity's impending subjugation. "They're not just containing us," she explained, pointing to decoded star charts. "They're setting us up for complete dependency. Once their systems are fully integrated into our infrastructure, they'll have the power to shut down our entire civilization with the flip of a switch." Admiral Santos studied the data in silence, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays, showing the true extent of Valerian activities around Earth. Finally, he spoke. "We suspected something like this might be coming. That's why we never completely shut down the Artemis Protocol." Chen had heard rumors about Artemis, a classified defense initiative that preceded First Contact, but like most, she'd assumed it had been disbanded. Santos led her deeper into the facility, through security checkpoints that seemed to erase them from official existence with each passing door. "The Valerians think they're the first visitors we've had," Santos said as they entered a vast underground chamber. "They're not. 70 years ago, We shot down a scout ship from another species. Been reverse engineering their tech ever since. We're not as helpless as our friends up there believe." Before them stood rows of sleek spacecraft, their design unlike anything the Valerians had shown them. This was human engineering enhanced by alien tech, but built to human specifications and requirements. Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades, hidden from the eyes of both its people and its would-be conquerors. "How long?" Chen asked, understanding immediately what needed to be done. "Give us 2 weeks to activate everything," Santos replied. "Then we show our new friends what humanity is really capable of." As they began to formulate their response, encrypted messages spread through Earth's military and scientific communities. The Valerians had made a critical mistake in their calculations. They had assumed humanity's apparent technological limitations reflected their true capabilities. They had mistaken humanity's diplomatic cooperation for naive trust. Most importantly, they had failed to understand that humans work best when backed into a corner. The countdown to humanity's counter-deception had begun. In orbiting diplomatic stations and underground bunkers, in secret laboratories and military bases, the pieces were moving into place. Earth was about to remind the galaxy why you should never underestimate a species that had survived its own violent history to reach for the stars. Dr. Chen looked at the fleet of hidden ships one last time before heading back to her observatory. She had a role to play, maintaining the illusion of human compliance while the real preparations continued in secret. The Valerians thought they were shepherding a primitive species toward controlled development. They were about to discover just how wrong they were. The Artemis complex stretched nearly a kilometer beneath the Rocky Mountains, a labyrinth of laboratories, hangars, and command centers that officially didn't exist. Admiral Santos had transformed his office into a war room, where holographic displays tracked every Valerian ship and transmission. Dr. Chen sat among military leaders and scientists, all gathered to witness the unveiling of humanity's true capabilities. Project Eclipse is now at 90% readiness, Colonel Maya Rodriguez reported, manipulating a hologram to show a network of orbital defense platforms hidden in Earth's satellite network. "We can have full coverage within 48 hours. The platforms appeared innocuous to Valerian scans, weather satellites, communications relays, and space debris. In reality, each housed quantum-based weapons reverse-engineered from the crashed scout ship. The technology had been enhanced by decades of human innovation, creating weapons more advanced than anything the hegemony currently fielded." "What about the ground teams?" Santos asked, turning to General Wei Chen. No relation to Sarah, but equally committed to Earth's defense. "Ghost Protocol is active in every major facility housing Valerian technology," Wei confirmed. "The moment we give the signal, our people can disable or isolate every piece of their infrastructure. They won't be able to use our dependencies against us." The Ghost Protocol had been Sarah's suggestion, embedding human override systems within the very technology the Valerians had gifted to Earth. While appearing to eagerly integrate alien tech into Earth's infrastructure, human engineers had secretly modified everything, creating backdoors and fail-safes that would prevent the Valerians from weaponizing their own systems against humanity. But the real surprise waited in the deeper levels of the facility. Dr. Marcus Rivera, head of the Quantum Physics Division, activated a secure channel to their lunar base. "Show them Prometheus," he said simply. The main screen lit up with a live feed from the far side of the moon. In a massive artificial cavern, crews were putting the finishing touches on humanity's masterpiece, a fleet of warships that combined reversed-engineered alien tech with uniquely human innovations. "We didn't just copy their technology," Rivera explained, his voice filled with pride. "We improved it. The quantum drive we developed from the scout ship is 30% more efficient than current hegemony designs. Our shield technology operates on principles they haven't even discovered yet." The ships themselves were a testament to human ingenuity. Unlike the crystalline elegance of Valerian vessels, these were built for war. Sleek, dark hulls absorbed rather than reflected light, making them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Their weapons systems combined conventional kinetic weapons with advanced energy projectors, creating an arsenal that could adapt to any defense. "How many?" Sarah asked, staring at the fleet in amazement. 50 capital ships and over 200 support vessels, Santos answered. "All crewed and ready for deployment. We've been training crews in secret for years, using simulations based on the scout ship's combat data." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth wasn't just preparing to resist. They were preparing to fight back. But Sarah saw something in the design that made her lean forward. "Those aren't just warships," she said, recognizing patterns in their construction. Rivera smiled. "No, they're not. Each ship is also equipped with full scientific and exploration capabilities. We built them to defend Earth, yes, but also to fulfill humanity's greatest dream, to explore the stars on our own terms." The next revelation came from Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of special projects. She activated a classified terminal, revealing humanity's greatest secret. While the Valerians were busy trying to make us dependent on their technology, we were completing this. The hologram showed a massive structure hidden in a pocket of subspace, accessible only through highly specialized quantum tunneling. The Nexus, as they called it, was humanity's ultimate insurance policy, a fully self-sufficient habitat capable of supporting millions, equipped with manufacturing facilities and defense systems beyond anything the hegemony could field. "If everything goes wrong," Tanaka explained, "if we can't hold Earth, we have a fallback position, a place where humanity can survive, rebuild, and eventually take back our home." But Santos shook his head. "The Nexus is our last resort. We're not planning to run. We're planning to win." The next hour was spent reviewing operation plans. Earth's response would be precisely coordinated, designed to neutralize the Valerian threat while demonstrating humanity's strength to the broader galactic community. They couldn't just win. They had to win in a way that would prevent future attempts to subjugate Earth. "What about the other species?" Sarah asked. "The ones in the hegemony who might not agree with this approach to uplifting primitive worlds." "Already handled," Colonel Rodriguez replied. "We've been broadcasting encrypted evidence of the Valerians' true intentions on frequencies we know other species monitor. When we make our move, they'll understand why." As the meeting concluded, Sarah found herself looking at the lunar fleet again. In those ships, she saw not just humanity's defiance, but their potential. They had taken alien technology and made it their own, improving and adapting it in ways its original creators never imagined. 2 days, Santos announced. "We give our people 2 days to get into position. Then we show the Valerians exactly what humanity is capable of." "Dr. Chen, are you ready to play your part?" Sarah nodded. She would return to her observatory, maintain her role as the eager human scientist, and prepare to coordinate the scientific response to what was coming. The Valerians thought they were dealing with a young, naive species. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their weapons, but in their ability to face impossible odds and find a way to overcome them. As she left the complex, Sarah looked up at the night sky. Somewhere up there, the Valerians were continuing their careful manipulation, confident in their control of the situation. In just 2 days, they would learn what happened when you pushed humanity too far, when you mistook diplomatic patience for weakness and careful preparation for technological inferiority. The arsenal was ready. Humanity's moment was about to begin. The moment of revelation began not with a bang, but with silence. At precisely 300 UTC, every Valerian system on Earth simultaneously lost connection with their fleet. In orbit, Ambassador Lyra received urgent messages from her technical teams reporting total communication failures with their installed infrastructure. "Impossible," she muttered, her skin shifting to a deep purple of concern. "Our systems are fully redundant." The ambassador's confusion turned to alarm as her ship's sensors detected multiple quantum signatures emerging from the dark side of the moon. On her command screen, dozens of unknown vessels appeared, their design unlike anything in the Hegemony's database. Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came through on all Valerian frequencies, broadcasting in perfect galactic standard. Ambassador Lyra, this is Earth Command. We need to discuss the terms of your continued presence in our system. In the Artemis Complex Command Center, Admiral Santos watched the Valerian fleet's reaction. Their ships were moving into defensive formations, but there was hesitation in their movements, the uncertainty of a force suddenly realizing they weren't the most powerful ones in the system. Launch Eclipse, Santos ordered. Around the Earth, hundreds of seemingly innocuous satellites transformed. Panels shifted, revealing quantum weapon arrays. Within seconds, Earth was surrounded by a defense grid more advanced than anything that Hegemony had encountered. Battle Group Theta, execute containment protocol. Colonel Rodriguez commanded. The human fleet moved with precision, splitting into predetermined formations. They didn't directly threaten the Valerian ships, but their positioning made it clear. No one was leaving Earth orbit without humanity's permission. Ambassador Lyra's response came swiftly. This is a violation of Hegemony law. Your species is not authorized to possess this level of technology. Stand down immediately, or we will be forced to take corrective action. Sarah couldn't help but smile at the ambassador's choice of words. Ambassador, we've been aware of your true intentions for some time. We've decoded your transmissions to the Hegemony. We know about the planned subjugation of Earth through technological dependency. In the command center, General Wei's team activated Ghost Protocol. Across the planet, human engineers took complete control of every piece of Valerian technology. The aliens' backup systems, their hidden overrides, their emergency protocols, all had been identified, isolated, and neutralized months ago. Impossible. Lyra protested, but there was fear in her voice now. Our systems are exactly where we wanted them. Sarah interrupted. Every gift you gave us, every system you installed, we didn't just accept them, Ambassador. We improved them. Humanity has a long history of learning from our adversaries. The Valerian ships began powering up their weapons. Admiral Santos had expected this reaction. Battle Group Sigma, demonstration authorized. A single human vessel, smaller than the Valerian cruisers, moved forward. Its quantum drive engaged in a way the Valerians had never seen, creating a localized field that bent space itself. Before the alien ships could react, it had executed a maneuver that their best tactical systems classified as theoretically impossible. The ship fired a single shot, a concentrated burst of quantum energy that passed directly through the Valerian flagship's shields, as if they didn't exist. The beam struck a precise point on the ship's hull, disabling its main power core without causing catastrophic damage. That was a warning. Santos broadcast. The next demonstration won't be so gentle. In orbit, the remaining Valerian ships found themselves targeted by multiple human vessels. Their scans revealed weapons they couldn't comprehend. Humanity hadn't just reversed engineered alien technology, they'd taken it in entirely new directions. You have two options, Ambassador, Sarah continued. You can order your fleet to stand down and open genuine diplomatic negotiations, not as conquerors, but as equals, or you can test your forces against ours. But before you decide, you should know that we've already transmitted evidence of the Hegemony's attempted subjugation to every spacefaring species in this sector. This was humanity's true masterstroke. While the Valerians had focused on controlling Earth, human quantum communication arrays had been broadcasting proof of their deception across the galaxy. The Hegemony's political position was already compromised. Ambassador Lyra's skin had turned a pale blue, a sign of defeat in her species. You were never as primitive as we believed. No, Sarah agreed. We were exactly what we've always been. Survivors, innovators, and explorers. We wanted peaceful first contact. Ambassador, you chose deception. Now you face the consequences. The next hour was tense as the Valerian ships remained in position, presumably receiving instructions from the Hegemony. Human forces maintained their containment formation, their superior position becoming clearer with each passing minute. Finally, Ambassador Lyra spoke again. The hegemony requests the opportunity to open new diplomatic channels, without preconditions. In the command center, Santos and his team allowed themselves small smiles. This was just the beginning. Humanity's first step onto the galactic stage as a recognized power, not a subjugated species. "We accept," Sarah replied. "But this time, we set the terms of engagement. Earth is not your subject or your project, Ambassador. We are your equals, and it's time the hegemony understood that." As the human fleet maintained their positions, Sarah looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses. In just 2 days, they had transformed from an apparently primitive species to a force that had outmaneuvered one of the galaxy's dominant powers. But this wasn't just a military victory. In labs and facilities across the planet, human scientists were already improving upon Valerian technology in ways that would reshape the balance of power in this sector of space. The hegemony had wanted to contain humanity's potential. Instead, they had triggered its explosive growth. The counterstrike had succeeded beyond their highest expectations. But as Admiral Santos reminded his staff, this was just the beginning. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in a way that couldn't be ignored. The real challenge would be what came next. The weeks following Earth's revelation transformed galactic politics. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the hegemony's capital world, Ambassador Lyra faced harsh questioning from representatives of 24 spacefaring civilizations. The evidence humans had broadcast, proving the Valerians' attempted subjugation of Earth, had shattered centuries of political alliances. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the proceedings via quantum feed, seated in the newly established Earth Diplomatic Center in Geneva. Beside her, Admiral Santos and Colonel Rodriguez monitored reactions from various species. The galactic political landscape was shifting, and humanity needed to understand where the pieces would fall. "The Centaur Confederation is officially withdrawing from the hegemony," announced a tall, crystalline being. Their species had long been uncomfortable with the hegemony's methods of uplifting younger civilizations. "We seek independent diplomatic relations with Earth." They weren't alone. The Arcturus Alliance, the Proxima Collective, and half a dozen other significant powers had already sent envoys to Earth. Not all of them were abandoning the hegemony, but all recognized that humanity could no longer be ignored or controlled. "The balance of power is shifting faster than we anticipated," Colonel Rodriguez noted, studying the diplomatic feeds. "We need to be careful how we proceed." She was right. Earth's demonstration of advanced technology and strategic capability had done more than thwart the Valerians. It had destabilized a political system that had maintained relative peace for centuries. The wrong moves now could trigger a galactic conflict. In orbit, the Prometheus fleet maintained its vigilant guard, but now they were joined by vessels from other civilizations. Some came as observers, others as potential allies. Each arrival brought new opportunities and new complications. "We have a message from the Aldebarans," Sarah announced, reading from her quantum tablet. The Aldebarans were known for their scientific achievements and ethical approach to technological development. "They're impressed by our quantum innovations. They're offering a technology exchange agreement." Santos nodded thoughtfully. "The Aldebarans could be valuable allies. Their ethical standards align with ours, and their scientific capabilities are complementary to what we've developed." But humanity's emergence hadn't just attracted potential friends. The Orion Syndicate, a loose confederation of mercenary worlds and corporate interests, had begun probing Earth's defenses. Their ships never crossed into restricted space, but their presence was a reminder that not everyone welcomed a new power in the galaxy. In response, Earth had accelerated its defense preparations. The Nexus facility, once conceived as a last resort, was being expanded into a major research and development center. Human scientists worked alongside alien colleagues, combining different approaches to push the boundaries of what was possible. "The hegemony's Council of Elders has requested a private audience," Colonel Rodriguez reported one morning. They're offering significant concessions in exchange for some of our quantum technology. Sarah shook her head. They still don't understand. This isn't about technology exchange or political advantage. This is about establishing a new way of interacting between civilizations. She was right. Earth's leadership had spent long hours developing a new approach to galactic relations. Instead of the hegemony's hierarchical system of dominant and subordinate species, humanity proposed a cooperative model based on mutual respect and shared advancement. The Aldebarans were the first to publicly support this vision. Their ambassador, a being of pure energy contained in an elegant mechanical form, addressed a joint session of Earth's united government. For too long, the galaxy has operated on principles of control and dominance, the ambassador stated. Humanity has shown us another way. Their response to attempted subjugation wasn't just about military capability. It was about innovative thinking and ethical leadership. The Proxima Collective joined next, bringing with them extensive knowledge of hyperspace navigation and trade networks. The Centauri Confederation followed, offering their expertise in sustainable energy systems and ecological management. But the most surprising shift came from an unexpected quarter. A faction within the Valerian society, led by younger members who had directly observed Earth's capabilities, initiated internal reforms. They argued that the attempt to subjugate Earth had been not just a tactical mistake, but an ethical failure. "We've been monitoring transmissions from Valerian reform groups," Sarah reported during a high-level briefing. "They're using our example to push for changes in how their society approaches other civilizations. They're calling it the Earth Doctrine. The idea that true advancement comes through cooperation, not control." Admiral Santos smiled at this development. Sometimes the best way to defeat an enemy is to transform them into an ally. The transformation of galactic politics continued to accelerate. The rigid structure of the hegemony was giving way to a more flexible network of alliances and partnerships. Earth found itself at the center of this new arrangement, not through conquest or dominance, but through demonstrated capability and ethical leadership. Research collaborations flourished as different species shared their unique perspectives and technologies. The quantum tunneling technology that humans had developed was enhanced by Aldebaranian energy manipulation techniques. Centauri environmental systems were integrated with Earth's climate control methods, creating new solutions for terraforming and habitat development. But challenges remained. The Orion Syndicate's probing had evolved into subtle attempts at industrial espionage. Several smaller species, used to playing larger powers against each other, were trying to manipulate the new political landscape for their advantage. "We need to remain vigilant," Colonel Rodriguez warned during a strategy session. "We've changed the game, but not everyone is happy with the new rules." Sarah looked out from the diplomatic center's observation deck at the mix of ships in orbit, human vessels alongside alien craft of various designs. Each represented a different approach to technology, a different way of thinking, a different possible future. "We're not just changing political alliances," she realized. "We're creating a new model for galactic civilization. The real question is, are we ready for the responsibility that comes with that?" The answer would shape not just Earth's future, but the future of all spacefaring species. The alliance shifts weren't just about power. They were about the fundamental nature of how advanced civilizations should interact. And humanity, for better or worse, had become the catalyst for this transformation. 5 years after humanity's dramatic emergence onto the galactic stage, Earth had become unrecognizable. The skyline of every major city now featured quantum transportation hubs, where ships from dozens of civilizations arrived and departed daily. The once secret Artemis complex had evolved into the Terran Space Academy, training a new generation of humans alongside alien allies in the arts of exploration, diplomacy, and defense. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in her new office atop the Global Sciences Tower in Singapore, reviewing holographic reports from human research teams scattered across the galaxy. The quantum display showed unprecedented achievements. Human Aldebaranian joint ventures pushing the boundaries of space-time manipulation, collaborative projects with the Centauri developing artificial habitats that could support multiple species, and breakthroughs in understanding consciousness itself through work with the energy-based Proxima entities. Director Chen, her AI assistant announced, Admiral Santos, and the Galactic Council representatives have arrived. The meeting room transformed as delegates from 20 different species materialized through quantum projection. Among them was a familiar face, Ambassador Lyra, now representing the reformed Valerian coalition, her skin shimmering with the golden hue of optimism. "The Earth Doctrine has exceeded all expectations," began the Aldebaranian representative, their energy form pulsing with enthusiasm. "The cooperative model you proposed has led to technological and social advances that none of our civilizations achieved alone." Admiral Santos, his hair now gray but his eyes still sharp, nodded in agreement. The key was understanding that true strength comes from diversity of thought and approach. When we stopped trying to dominate each other and started learning from our differences, everything changed. The evidence was undeniable. The new Galactic Exchange Program, headquartered in Earth's rebuilt United Nations complex, had facilitated thousands of technological and cultural exchanges. Young humans studied ancient alien philosophies while alien scholars examined human art, literature, and music with fascination. But perhaps the most significant change was in space itself. The Prometheus fleet, once built for war, had been transformed into the spearhead of a multi-species exploration initiative. Human ingenuity combined with alien wisdom had pushed the boundaries of known space further than ever before. Colonel Rodriguez, now General Rodriguez, and commander of the Terran Defense Force, appeared via quantum link from the Nexus station. The latest security reports show a 70% decrease in interstellar conflicts since the implementation of the Earth Doctrine. Even the Orion Syndicate has begun legitimate operations under the new cooperative framework. "We've created something unprecedented," Sarah observed. "Not just peace through strength, but progress through partnership." The transformation hadn't been without challenges. Earth had faced resistance from conservative factions in various societies, including their own. Some humans feared losing their identity in the vast galactic community. Others worried about depending too much on alien alliances, but humanity had found a balance. Earth's cities now featured both ultra-modern alien architecture and carefully preserved historical districts. Traditional human cultures thrived alongside new hybrid communities where humans and aliens lived and worked together. The Academy's latest graduation ceremony was particularly inspiring, noted Dr. Rivera, who had become the institution's first director. Watching human cadets receiving their commissions alongside Centauri, Aldebaranian, and yes, even Valerian classmates, it's everything we hoped for and more. The Valerian reform movement had been one of the most surprising developments. Ambassador Lyra's faction had transformed their society, replacing the old doctrine of control with one of mutual advancement. Young Valerians now spoke of Earth not as the planet that had defied them, but as the civilization that had shown them a better way. "We're ready to begin the next phase," Sarah announced to the assembled council. The Deep Space Initiative. Holographic displays showed the ambitious project, a network of quantum-linked exploration hubs extending into unexplored regions of the galaxy. It would be the largest cooperative venture in known history, combining the technologies and expertise of over 24 civilizations. "This is more than exploration," she continued. "Each hub will be a self-sufficient colony, a new home for anyone who dreams of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Every species working together, learning from each other, growing together." The Council's approval was unanimous. 5 years ago, such cooperation would have been unthinkable. Now it seemed inevitable, the natural evolution of the path humanity had chosen. As the meeting concluded, Sarah found herself back at her observatory on Mauna Kea, where everything had begun. The facility had grown, incorporating alien technology into its Earth-built foundations. But the view of the stars remained the same. Only now she knew what was out there. Not just distant lights, but friends, allies, and endless possibilities. Admiral Santos joined her on the observation deck. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" he asked. Sarah smiled, watching a group of alien tourists admiring the sunset. "Not exactly like this, but I always believed humanity had something unique to offer the galaxy. We just needed the chance to show it." In orbit, ships of all designs and origins moved in harmony through Earth's bustling spaceports. The Prometheus fleet vessels, once built for war, now served as training ships where mixed crews learned to work together. The Nexus, originally conceived as a refuge of last resort, had become a symbol of unity, a place where different species came together to solve the galaxy's greatest challenges. "The next generation will go even further," Santos mused. "They won't remember a time when Earth stood alone. For them, this cooperative galaxy will be normal." Sarah nodded, thinking of her students at the academy, human and alien youth working together, sharing dreams of exploration and discovery. "That's our real achievement," she said, "not just surviving the Valerian crisis, but creating a future where such conflicts are unnecessary." As night fell over Hawaii, the stars seemed brighter than ever. Somewhere up there, human ships were pushing into unknown space, not alone but alongside allies from across the galaxy. Earth had found its place not by dominating or submitting, but by leading the way to something entirely new. The new dawn had truly arrived, not just for Earth, but for all civilizations ready to embrace a future of unlimited potential through cooperation and mutual respect.